I think I retweeted. Let me just check to be sure. Yeah. Okay. Good. Uh, okay. There we go.
Yep. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of A Conversation About Tech. I got two great guests today from the UK. So I got Jermaine, the concept creator, and I got Roger, live of tech. So we'll be talking about everything that how they started in tech, how they became passionate about tech. We're gonna talk about how Roger likes to create those amazing concepts about new upcoming phones and stuff like that. uh, and Roger about he's not only a reviewer like Jermaine is also he likes to build computers and he also do a little bit of programming. So we're gonna be talking about that also. So thanks guys for joining me on the live stream today and people that are hearing this on the podcast. So you can download it anywhere. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. Just give it a rating. So, all right, let's start. Jermaine, thank you. And let's talk about how you started in tech and how you became that passionate and how you became with all that crazy concepts of the phones and stuff like that that you do.
Okay. The start is actually quite funny. I always was interested in 3D modeling in itself, but I couldn't. I had no knowledge about it. But I've always been passionate about being creative in terms of drawing, in terms of creating things with my hands as well. It's always been a passion of mine. So I started working with someone who does Formula One cars, and he asked me to basically skin them. So UV wrap them so you can have a skin on top, and then it looks proper in the game. After that, I tried to do it myself straight away instead of starting with the basics of modeling, which is never do that. uh, it's really a bad idea. Just dive in and do the worst or the hardest thing you can create. But I started with a Formula One car. It looked horrible. It didn't look proper at all. But later on, I evolved myself in doing so. But at some point, I think it was the Samsung Galaxy S4 that came out, a leak of it. Basically, just a really bright display, and you could barely see the edges of it. I was like, you know what, for the fun of it, let me make a 3D concept of that. It looked terrible, but I made it for the fun of it. Then all of a sudden, concept phones.com shared it. I was like, that's pretty cool, honestly. So from that moment on, I started doing more and more phone concepts. Started using Maya at the beginning, but now I'm using Fusion 360 because it allows me to do it much faster and more efficient than Maya. Maya is really good, but if you want fast and efficient, Fusion 360 is better for it. And from that moment on, I basically started doing that. And at some point, for reviews, I think it was Banggood reached out. I was like, yeah, I find reviews interesting as well. And they said, we can send you some devices. You can review them. And I was like, you know what? Why not? That's basically how it started. And at one point, I was hired by a company to do some 3D animation. That stopped in 2018, I think. And that's where I started also, no, 2017. And I hit my name on the concept creator because he didn't want me to create concepts. So I was like, I'm gonna hide my name on the concept creator. And then after that, when that job stopped, basically, then it was just public. Then I did that, but I started well before that, like
Eh,
2015, I think.
yeah, there's it's crazy. We were talking before starting the stream that you made that full C3 concept with the S Pen. That looks crazy. If actually that works like that with that screen that is not
Yeah,
glass but working on it is we'll see how that work out if they make something like that happen.
yeah.
And also like if you I think if you make like YouTube shorts or TikTok about 3D animations, look at this guy that did the Among Us. He just blew out YouTube with like 500 billions of
I
views in like a month.
Yeah, I seen that actually. That guy that does that Among Us in 3D. That looks crazy. That looks
Yeah,
crazy. That's actually really cool. I cannot do that. That's not my 3D skill level or something that I ever done. So no idea how to do that. But it's really
yeah,
cool.
yeah. He, I was the people at VIQ talked to him, and he gave him like his analytics of the channel and how that work, and he gave him a little bit of information on the videos and stuff like that. It takes him to do one video of 30 seconds to a minute, 8 hours.
That's faster than me.
so I'm like, so you've been sitting 8 hours to cut those 3D clips and put it together and make that video happen. So
that's faster than me.
So it's
13 Volt, for instance, that took me about 350 hours to finish.
but yeah, well, you remember he's always done that 3D animation, so I guess he just have like a base idea. It's like for you, it might be easier to do the phones because you already started with phones. So I'm but yeah, just imagine if you do those 3D comps, it's just like a little bit of an idea and put it on those 30 seconds. It might be good because that guy started actually on TikTok. That's how he came to YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great idea. I see we got Matt here. Don't kick Roger out.
I mean, you could kick me out. You know, it wouldn't be the first time I've been kicked out of a live stream. I mean, you know.
Very true.
But yeah, it's yeah, I see that your concept are like really crazy, and I know it should takes a lot of hours. I think probably like 10, 11, 12 years ago, maybe even more than that. I tried to start working with like Maya in the beginnings and trying to do some 3D animations and stuff like that, and I couldn't figure out how the Y and the X move, and so
it takes a bit of time, but it's actually really fun if you get into it. But again, you need to be sure that you take your time for it.
Yeah, it's like everything. I know a lot of engineers that like to use AutoCAD for that. Yep. So it's part of Maya's infrastructure. Yep. So, but yeah, it's IR 1980s here with us today also.
Hello.
So yeah, it's crazy how you started from doing that from a Formula car, and you just became that great idea of making 3D animations of phones. So yeah, it's great. So Roger, how you started? What was that little thing that pushed you into tech?
Oh, you know something? Well, the thing is, like, I guess like any of us that like tech, it's just been like, such an important thing to me. Any kind of tech, not even just smartphones, not just, everything. I love anything that's got like anything that needs electricity basically interests me, I guess. And smartphones, obviously, they're always interesting. But I don't know, how did I get into it? The truth is, a very, very long time ago when I was a lot younger, I had this terrible computer. Well, no, actually, at the time, it was amazing. It was really cool at the time. but looking back at it now, it really wasn't very good. I think it was I can't remember, it was an Amstrad something or other, but I can't remember exactly. You couldn't really do much with it. You really couldn't do. You'd sit there for like 3 hours reading a book, trying to type this code in, and it would just print off this tiny little picture made up of like symbols, and you'd be like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" It wasn't amazing. And I think, from there, I sort of thought, okay, this is quite cool, and I got quite interested in anything to do with tech. So, and then I, in the past, worked for a couple of companies where they gave me the opportunity to create some video content for them. And believe me when I say it was awful. It wasn't good. Jermaine, see, he's laughing because Jermaine has seen these videos. Nobody will ever see this stuff. unless of course Jermaine suddenly tweets it out,
I saved them.
Yeah,
I
yeah. You saved the links. Yeah, thanks, mate. So, but if I hopefully keep that good relationship with Jermaine, then he won't ever share them with people. So,
that depends. Okay, so correction, I'm not from the UK, by the way. I know you tweeted it out, but that depends, the good relationship, if I ever get my fish and chips from you.
oh yes. So yeah, so Jermaine's in the Netherlands. That's where he is.
Yeah, it's up north, way up north.
But he came to the UK, and I never bought fish and chips for him, and he was very disappointed. So one day we'll have to fix that. We will have to fix that. But yeah, so I started making this video content. It was bad. It wasn't very good. But the more I did it, the better it got. And in the end, I thought, you know something, I'd love to start a channel and talk about tech. But the problem was I wasn't sure, what do I talk about? What kind of tech do I do? So, and at first it wasn't about trying to grow a channel. It wasn't about trying to be professional. It was just, I'm going to try and make videos that look interesting. Maybe they look cool. And what can I make content about? So I made a few videos about headsets, and I can't even remember like how to send animojis or something on the iPhone 10 maybe, or something like that. Was the first video I put on this channel, I think. But I don't know. I've got to a point now where things are different now, because I have realized after such a very long time that actually, if you want to grow your channel, why have I only just realized this in the last 6 months? I don't know. But if you want to grow a channel, then you have to specialize in something. People are going to subscribe to your channel for something that you do. And the problem is, of course, I've done gaming mice, headsets, PC builds, smartphones, and I understand it now. People are subscribing to the channel because I like that handset review that Roger did. But then if the next 6 videos are about a PC case, they're not that interested, because that's not what they subscribe for. So, things are different this year, and I really have to focus carefully on what I'm doing so that the channel grows and you get the right audience. So, but yeah, anyway, I diverted a bit. Sorry about that. But that's why I started, because I love tech. It's great fun. Everybody around me, they are like family, friends, they are always sending me messages. Help, the PC's broken, the phone won't work, the light doesn't turn on in the front room. I'm like, oh. So, but that's it. It's just good fun. Something I really enjoy.
Yeah, it's I know what you're saying about how the way to grow up. The YouTube channel is but the way you started is kind of like the way I'm going right now. Just trying to figure out who are your audience and how to niche that down into what the people want to see on your channel. For example, my #1 video, I posted it more than a year ago, and it suddenly just blew out. And it's about 19,000 views, close to that now, and it's a tutorial on how to do the restore your MacBook from a time machine backup. So
I think I saw that actually,
and it's almost at 19,000 views. So
nice.
So and it's funny because that's how to restore. So the one that I did the day before and posted it is how to do the backup. It only like a 5,000 views. So I'm like, okay, people know how to do the backup, but they don't know how to restore the computer. That's crazy. Yeah. But
it shows you, though, doesn't it? You never realize actually what people need. And this is the weird thing. You can make a video and you think, oh, this is going to get so many views. It's going to be so popular. And then it's not. And then you make a video that you think, you know what? I'm not going to spend any time on this. I'm just going to bang it out, quick video. And all of a sudden that one gets like hundreds of thousands of views. And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's I done videos unboxing. I've done a little bit of tutorials about phones, and it's suddenly the people that most have view on my channels are the one looking for information about how to do stuff. So I got also the Atomos Ninja 5. That recorder, a lot of people know that they're content creators, they use that, but they don't know how to even upgrade the Atomos Ninja 5, how to put the latest software. And that video is around close to 10,000 views already. And it's only like 2 minutes long, 2.5 minutes long video. And I just explain how to put put it on the SD, put it in, update it, and that's it. And I saw that video went up, and then I'm like, well, if people don't know how to upgrade their Atomos, maybe they don't know how to put the LUTs in to color grade their footage. So I did another one that is around 5,000 also. So I'm like,
nice.
okay.
So that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. You're just basically giving people something they need. People are looking for this advice and this help, and you're there to give it to them. So that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really good.
So yeah, it's like, all right. So the next video that I'm working on is about the PS5. So I got a couple of videos going about the PS5 that I'm gonna be finishing off probably by next week.
Nice.
So that's the thing. It's kind of like showing off the PS5, but also it's kind of like a tutorial for people to do stuff. So hopefully everything goes like that. I'm just trying to niche down the channel and see what people want. Probably instead of actually doing full reviews about the phone, how to probably do stuff on the phone, like gaming, stuff like that. So, and because that's one of the things that I was doing. I was gonna do a video. I'm thinking about doing a video about this guy right here. Probably it's off.
Yeah, just turn it around, then we can see what fun it. Turn it. What is it? Oh, OnePlus. Okay. I can.
yeah. It's just like
what's that logo?
I got the skin. That's a skin that Jerry Rick everything did. On the one,
I honestly thought I see that now. I see the skin now. I honestly thought for a minute you just ripped the back off for a second. I was like, "What's Rolando doing?"
On the 16.
Remember that, Roger? Remember that?
Oh
yes. He had a live
stream,
and I had like a fake Apple. I was like, I got an Apple. I don't normally use it. So they said it's not strong and whatnot. So I took it and I just bent it and it broke. And they're like, what have you done? It was a bloody
yeah, it was smashed and everything. And we were like, we couldn't believe it just ruined this iPhone. And it turned out, of course, that it wasn't actually. I'll see if I can find that clip. I'll post it somewhere. Like Twitter. Yeah, that was good. That was funny.
That was really good.
But yeah, it's like.
I don't know if it's off, by the way.
That phone is almost 2.5 years old.
Yeah.
So it came out October 2018, something like that. Because I went to that's the first event that actually I participated on live.
Nice.
Like I went there and I got invited, and it was in New York, and I went down there. And a phone that people think that you see people playing gaming in newer phones, like the Note, and you got phones like that can't game as good as newer phones that with bigger chips and faster memories, because games are designed within a certain parameter. They're not built to have the latest to be able to play on it. So if they're mobile games, they can play with some type of requirements. They don't have to have the latest, biggest chip, the most memory, or big or fastest refresh screen display. So I was thinking about doing a video about how you can play like Fortnite on this phone, and it's
Jermaine doesn't like Fortnite because the problem is I have to carry him every time we play it.
That's what I was gonna say about that. I saw that PC build that you did about the llamas Fortnite.
Oh yeah, the llamas. I've got the llamas here. They're here. Look, I'll show you. Here's the big one. Daddy llama, baby llama. I love them to pieces. I love the Fortnite llama. This is the problem, Rolando. See, Jermaine knows already. He knows I'm crazy, but I like all the colourful stuff about Fortnite. All the really colourful, like cartoony. No, it's not really cartoony, is it? But you know what I mean. It's all colourful and fun, and I love it. I love it to bits. It's great fun. Sits on my desk. It brings me luck. That's what it is.
Actually, I haven't played for last season. I didn't finish playing Fortnite. This season that went by, I didn't play at all. But the season before, there was the Marvel's one. I played. and I finished it. But this one that has the Star Wars themes, Mandalorian and all this stuff, I haven't even touched that one. But yeah, it's like I watched that video. I'm like, that video looks crazy amazing. Like, and that computer is surprising. Like the colors and everything, the way it is built, it looks really nice. And
yeah, I'm not like any like really talented PC builder or anything like that, you know, but I just try to come up with an idea of something that I think people will enjoy watching, and then I try to make the video as fancy or as interesting and pleasing to the eye. That's what I try to do. Just try to make something nice to look at, you know.
Yeah,
but it doesn't always work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. But thank you, mate. Anyway,
yeah, and it's sometimes we got in our head the way that we want to do something, and then we put it to work and it doesn't work the way we want, and like it didn't look like that. So we just like throw that away and start again. And
absolutely, pretty much that's how it goes every single time.
That's what happened when I designed the Samsung Galaxy S21.
Yeah, because
I threw that design away, and then Samsung was like, "Yeet, I'm taking it."
Hey, Jermaine, look, Greg is getting the same 12 to 18 inches of snow. Oh.
Poor Jermaine, all he wants to do is build a snowman.
Professionally and as an adult, reply to that.
Hey,
that seems pretty professional.
but yeah, it's,
can I just ask, Jermaine, if you did get that much snow, what exactly would you do with it? Is there something is there a reason that, or you just like the look of snow?
I like the look of snow, and I like it on pictures. It just looks beautiful on pictures as well.
Okay, well that makes sense. I can just imagine you bursting out your front door, ta-da, and rolling around in the snow.
Jump 3 stories down if it's like
yes.
Just fall in the snow, you know.
But make sure you film it if that happens.
but yeah, it's crazy because here we're getting around that amount between 12 to 24. He's getting around 12 to 18. He's 2 states down, so he's lower. He's in Pennsylvania, so he's getting a little less snow. But the people in Chicago, that usually they get hammered with the snow up there, and they get below 0 temperatures, they were having probably like 10 inches today of snow, but it was 35 degrees.
Wow. Okay.
So they usually is the opposite. They get 10 inches of snow, but they're below 15. And they literally, everything is frozen up there. So even the news were saying like, this is like weird. It's 33, 35 degrees. We're getting snow, and everybody can just walk out the door and don't get frostbites.
I had to use the proper calculation for it in Celsius, because I was like, I don't know what 35 is. That sounds pretty hot to me. 6 Celsius. Okay, that's it's quite cold.
Yeah,
walk outside with no jacket.
But yeah, they get minus 15, so that's a lot under. So usually those lakes up there in Chicago, they got all frozen, like literally frozen.
Yeah, it's quite. I look sometimes at the temperatures in different parts of the US and in other countries in general, and some countries. I mean, in the UK, I think the lowest it is Celsius, obviously, that we use, degrees Celsius, but with the lowest we would get here is like -5, maybe something like that. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, though. Let me see if I can. I've got the tab open here. Let me see if I can.
That's not really low.
It's not that low, and this is the thing. So -5
or something sometimes.
No, that's +5. -5 is 23 Fahrenheit. That's like. It doesn't ever go any lower than that here, really.
Yeah, it's like this week has been like around that.
Okay.
So it's been if it's 23 here. I was working on Thursday and Friday night. It was around 15, 14. So, but usually it's normally around that -5.
We get around. So last year I think we had like -15. which is 5 in Fahrenheit. So I find it odd that watcher only gets to -5.
Maybe my what is it in Celsius though, Jermaine?
Yeah, the Celsius is the -15.
No, we don't ever have that. No way. -15.
Yeah. Last year we had.
No, we've never had that. I don't think there's. Maybe in Scotland, a bit further up north.
That's possible, I guess.
That's possible. That I know that gets like really cold up there. I'm not going up there, thanks. But, yeah. No, thanks.
Yeah. Here, one of the coldest states is up there is Chicago, because that's why they call it the windy state, because it's close to the lakes. So all the wind flows directly from the lake into the city. So you can see pictures from if it's -15 for you, that mean by Chicago might be like -30. So you see that the wind hit those buildings, and they're just literally, you see all the ice coming out of those buildings, so it's really, really, really cold up there.
Yeah,
like
that's crazy.
Tim Schofield's from Chicago, so he's up there getting that chilly wind.
Yeah. That really is very, very cold. I think if it was that cold, I don't think I'd be able to, because obviously I built this studio out here, and if it was that cold, I don't think I'd survive out here, to be honest. I think I'd freeze, you know.
In your studio, Roger.
So sorry, I missed that. Sorry,
in your studio.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, if it did get to those sort of cold temperatures here, I'd have a problem out here. I think. I mean, it's fine, you know, with 0 degrees or even -5. That's doable with the heating that I've got. But yeah, I think -10, -15, no way. I'd be indoors with a blanket around me all day.
Well, yesterday for me it was a little bit chilly here in the apartment where I live, and even with the heater at 80, I was using a sweater because I still was feeling that it was cold. So, but
yeah.
But yeah, Jermaine, what do you think about that Redmi Note 9T from Xiaomi? Because I know you both did the review on it.
It's a solid phone for the price itself. It's not the best though. If you want something more in terms of normal use, I would recommend the X3 before that. But in terms of having 5G for a budget price, in terms of camera in daytime, it performs well. In terms of battery, it performs well. Display it's okay. But if you want the best bang for its budget, it's not it. But if you want a solid phone for the price, which happens to have 5G, then yeah, it's a solid phone for the price.
Yeah, it's a good entry phone.
Yeah.
So you're coming from an old phone, probably a 5-year-old phone, 4-year-old phone, and you want to get the latest, not the biggest and most expensive phone, but you want to just get advantage of the new tech. You just, that's the way you want to go.
Yeah.
And Roger also did the unboxing, the first inspection, and he did also the review on the phone too. So it's the same for you, Roger? That's the way you feel like it's an entry phone?
Yeah, it's an entry phone. Do you know something? This is the whole problem I have when I create content about smartphones, is that Jermaine often says this as well. Sometimes, Roger, you're a little bit too generous about the phone, you know. And yeah, I probably was a little bit too generous. But this is the problem I have, right? If you go back 2 or 3 years ago and you look at a handset that would cost you £200, maybe 250, there is no way you'd get anything anywhere near as good as this. This is amazing for the money. This is so good for the money. But that doesn't mean it's the very best that you can get for that money. But it is really, really good. And, you know, it might not have that crazy refresh rate. It might not have the highest resolution you can get. But to me, I look at this handset. If that was my handset and I had to use this all the bloody time, okay, I can't play Fortnite on there because the GPU is not good enough for that. But this is nice. This is good stuff. You know, and obviously people, like I said in the video, that want 5G or need to be able to use 5G, and maybe they're not going to be able to spend loads of crazy money on a flagship. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It's a great little handset. So I think if Xiaomi, and I think if some of the other companies as well, keep pumping out handsets like this, then we as consumers, we're getting a really good deal for that kind of money at the moment, you know. So I'm excited to look at some more stuff this year around that kind of price.
Yeah, well, Xiaomi, Oppo, there's a few companies.
Yeah,
they're moving into a new chip suddenly soon, and they're gonna be talking about next coming week.
I've heard about that. They're all going to be using the M1 chip. Is that right? No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
The M1X. but yeah, they're gonna be talking about we are in embargo, so we can't talk about it yet until Tuesday. So, but we already know that Xiaomi, Oppo, and a few other companies they're supporting this change for new tech, and so we'll see how that works, and hopefully they get really great phones, better phones at a lower price range, more affordable for. Yes,
I think it's they're moving on with MediaTek as well, so far as I know.
Yeah,
but for myself, I think people are so focused right now on just Snapdragon, how it compares to Snapdragon. But it's better for us as consumers when there are more brands out there for the CPU itself, because then you get some competition in the same way.
You need competition because
company comes in a power position. It's the same thing with Apple. If Apple removes stuff, they know that you're stuck with their ecosystem. It allows them that freedom. It's the same with Samsung right now as well. Now, like, I can remove stuff because it's not like people are gonna go really to a different brand, and that's why you need competition. The competition, like Huawei gave Samsung, made Samsung step up their game. Now that competition is gone, feels a bit lackluster again.
Yeah, but it's like, for example, this little guy right here is one of the
which one is that? The
4A.
4A, yeah, that's
yeah. So this little phone is I like to recommend it to a lot of people because this is a great phone for the price, and it's only 350 US. So that phone brought the prices down from a lot of companies on trying to build an entry level price. That's how iPhone came with the SE 2020, tried to bring it at 400 because they literally follow suit at when Google announced this phone at 350. Apple's like, we can do a 400 phone, and they made the SE phone.
Yep.
And then you had these other guys right here.
Oh, and
yeah, the Nord, and here is the in the US is the N10. So, and that one is 5G. So they just kept bringing the prices down. So try to keep the prices at affordable for people. But Google was the one that started that trend of let's bring prices at a lower price. Even though Samsung has the A series that are like way cheaper phones, but not a lot of people get those phones on the hands, or they can see them on the hands, because usually those phones are like here in the US, you see the A series, but they barely you can see one phone, and everything else you see is the S series and the Notes. But if you go to like Central America and the Caribbean, you see more of those Samsung A phones. They're the primary lineup there. And those phones are way cheaper, than $200 or $250, something like that.
Samsung sells far more of those devices than they do from their flagships.
Yeah, that's the truth, because you got those line of phones are built for people that they don't get, as in the US, the higher pay rates. They can pay more for a phone. They given the premium phone, those flagship phones, they can spend more on a phone. So if you offer a phone and you got an S phone, and they look at both of them and like, bro, I like the S phone. And it's like $200 more. I don't care. I like the S phone. So they're gonna pay it anyways.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
So and that's one of the things that I've been watching Samsung in the past couple of years. Is how they are doing the same Apple idea of keeping their people in their infrastructure. They want to keep them on that ecosystem about, all right, you got the S or you got the Note, you got an S Tab, you got a smart TV, you got Dex, and they're building that little bubble to keep their customers within that branch.
That's true.
And app is just still literally just doing the same Apple is doing. You got an Apple, you got an iPhone, you got an iPad, you got a MacBook, you got an Apple TV.
Samsung loves making fun of Apple, but at the same time, they're following everything Apple does.
They definitely do. And I've got another problem as well, because, you know, I have an iPhone. Mine's actually the 11 Pro Max, because obviously we know that they cost a lot of money to keep upgrading them. So I never, nice. There you go. Nice.
For flexing phones.
HTC, yeah.
Actually, by the way, how flexible is that phone, Jermaine?
This is actually a real phone. This is the
oh, so you're not going to try. Yeah. But I edit everything on Mac OS. I use Final Cut Pro because I have used. People say to me, "Why do you use Final Cut Pro?" You know, I have used lots of other software. In fact, probably everything that's out there for video editing. You know, and Final Cut Pro for me is absolutely superb. But it's probably because I've used it so much. I really love the software. The problem is, I mean, I have Windows PCs as well, so I use Windows, I use Mac OS, but I like the stuff like your Apple Watch will unlock. You just walk over towards this to sit down and start working, and bang, it's all unlocked. Don't even need to type in a password. It's amazing. But it is a bit gimmicky, I guess. It is a bit of a gimmick. You could just type your password in, let's be honest. But but it's all quite cool. It's really smooth. Mac OS is unbelievably smooth. Everything about it is just so nice to use. But you do obviously pay a huge premium to use Apple software, like the cost of the iPhones. All right, I know I'm talking like flagship stuff, but it's good that Apple now have something a bit cheaper. But I think the idea of that is to try and draw you in to the Apple ecosystem again. So, once you've got the phone, then you want the watch, then you want the Apple TV, then you want the MacBook, then you want an iPad.
You want a charger that is not included.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But charger, you want a wireless charger.
Yeah.
I had my first MacBook was probably I bought it like 5 years ago for myself. My wife had one for like 8 years. I bought one to her like 9 years ago. But I used to do Hackintosh in PC. But I literally was working out of a MacBook for 5 years, and then after the MacBook Pro got updated with the chips and the Intel chips were not supporting Premiere Pro and stuff like that, I started having issues to edit from it. So I went back and I built a whole computer because it didn't have I had the one that had the Intel chip, but you can get the one with the AMD graphics card integrated. It costs you like $1,000 more. So, but I was like, I'm not going to spend another $1,000 in another MacBook if I can just build a full desktop and have everything out of it. I can do many other things. So
definitely. Well, I'm a bit of a naughty boy, but for the last year, I've been using. I was using a MacBook Pro for a while, and then for the last year, I was using a Hackintosh. So it was fine. It all worked fine. Obviously, you just got to be a little bit careful about what software you update, especially Mac OS. Otherwise, one day it just doesn't turn on, just doesn't boot. But lucky for me, there's a really great guy, actually. His name is Ron. His channel is Tech Therapy. He does some really, really awesome custom build stuff, all the water cool stuff and really, really nice stuff. And so I've been doing a little bit of work with Ron, not a lot, but I've edited a few videos for Ron, which is really cool. And what he's managed to sort out for me in order to help him with some of his video editing as well is the Mac Mini, the M1. So that's now what I'm using instead of the Hackintosh. So good, so good. It's crazy the cost, the amount of money you spend on the Mac Mini with the M1 chip You know, it's amazing what you get for that money. It's so amazing. And you know, I can export a video. I did a sorry, Rolando, to cut you off. I was just going to tell you, this 8-minute video, roughly, you can export it in about 2-3 minutes. That's ridiculous, and that's 4K, 30 frames per second, 4K, really good quality, and that's crazy. That's no time at all to export.
Yeah. I'm gonna sell my MacBook Pro because I'm really not using it right now. But I was thinking on waiting to the M1X new chip that they're gonna bring out, and probably is gonna have more support for more Windows type of software, like the Premiere Pros and stuff like that. Because that's the problem. Apple announced that M1 chip. A lot of companies didn't know that they were going to go into that ARM processor. And that's why it surprised all these companies like Adobe and all those companies that they were not ready to migrate their system into the new ARM chip. And so that's why there's no support still for some of those programs.
Yeah.
And I think the first one was Google was the first one that actually has support for like the browser, at least for the Google Chrome. And then after that, more companies started doing it, but none of them knew. So none of them were ready for this migration onto the ARM chips. But yeah, I see talking about DaVinci. Actually, I use DaVinci for color grading. So
oh, okay, nice. I just couldn't get on with DaVinci, and for me, do you know what it is? I really honestly think I'm it's weird because I don't mind using Windows, don't mind using Mac OS, don't mind using an iPhone, an Android handset, doesn't matter. But when it comes to certain things like video editing software, because obviously in the chat, you know, like Aditya, he's talking about DaVinci.
Yeah,
I just can't do it. I'm sorry, but I just can't do it. And I've tried Adobe Premiere. No, I can't do it. I'm so sorry. Final Cut Pro. Here's a major problem, because if anything ever happens and Final Cut Pro goes away, so does Life of Tech. Bye-bye.
and you were talking about you were talking about this guy, I think.
Yes, Ron. That's Ron. There he is. Hey. He's a great guy. He's got some amazing, if I don't know, you know, people listening to this, Tech Therapy, that's his name of his channel on YouTube, but he's got some really, really awesome custom build stuff. He's a very talented guy, actually. Great guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And I get what you're saying about DaVinci. What I proposed myself this year is like to learn how to use DaVinci at its fullest, because the problem is that we are so used to like Final Cut that I use in Premiere. That is most likely what I use all the time. When you have something, you add it on the top, the same timeline, and you just keep moving it and adjusting it the way you want. But on DaVinci, it's sideways. It's sideways. You have when you
too much for my brain. That's
so
too much.
when you add something and you want to do a cut, usually you put it on Final Cut or Premiere. You put it on top, and you just move with those little frames that where you want it to fall in, and just go into the next shot. In DaVinci, it goes sideways. You have to literally push it from the side to the frame where you want it and keep going. But for color grading, usually when I had my GH5, now with the A7S3, I don't have that issue anymore. But with the GH5, the GH5 turns the colors like a lot of green into it. They put a lot of green into those colors, and I had issues to color grade with Premiere. I literally had problems to color grade, and I had to go into DaVinci, color grade, export, throw it in Premiere. Because for some reason, even though when I was using proxies, because you can use proxies from Premiere into DaVinci, and you just literally you edit the footage in DaVinci, the color graded, and then it just literally, that's the way it's burned when you go back into Premiere. I had issues. It was making two clips, the same clip. So if I had a 1 GB clip, then I went to 4 GB clip, or double the amount of, because it was making it double.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think, you know, for me with stuff like so when I've used DaVinci, when I've used Premiere Pro and all that kind of stuff, I think the issue that I ran into with a lot of this stuff is, yeah, one, it is like Aditya says in the comments, it's a learning curve. It certainly is. It's the controls are very different. Things are very different, and you get used to stuff. You know, when you use software, you've got your quick shortcuts. You can do things a lot quicker. But I ran into a lot of other stuff as well. Yeah, that's another thing, is the subscription model. That is that's another issue. But the biggest issue is when I've sat in this studio at that desk and I have just spent 6 hours editing on something, like really working hard to get this amazing video done, and then it crashes, and then when you open it back up, because even though you had auto save on, and even though you manually saved it, it's crashed and it's gone and you've lost 4 hours of work. Nah, forget that. I'm not doing that anymore. No way. And I did that for a time, you know, so nah.
Lately on the last update of Premiere Pro, not the last one, they actually fixed most of it, but it was crashing all the time for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, you're going in doing the footage, you're halfway there, and you forgot to hit save, even though it has autosave. It would just crash on you, and you'd be like, okay, open it up, and there it is gone. And you have to redo everything, the crops and everything again, because that's one of the things that I don't know. Well, even though it has autosave, I don't know how Adobe hasn't done, like, for example, Microsoft, when you're using like Word or Excel and stuff like that, and it crashes, it gives you a note when you open it up again. It says you want to recover this.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You're working on, and I'm like, I don't know why they haven't done that, because Adobe uses a lot of memory, a lot of cache on your computer and their software. So I don't know why they haven't done that. Like, oh, it crashed, let me just grab that last instance and leave it on the cache. So when you open it up, it will tell you, oh, this is what you're working on, and it crashed or had an error.
I got to say, I definitely haven't used DaVinci or Premiere Pro or anything like that, anything other than Final Cut Pro, Motion, and Compressor. That's what I use now. But Jermaine does not have a Mac. Jermaine doesn't use Mac OS, and Jermaine doesn't use Final Cut Pro. You only use Premiere Pro you use for a little bit for editing, but of course not for your render stuff, not for your 3D stuff. But you only use Premiere Pro, don't you, Jermaine? You don't use Final Cut or anything?
No, Premiere Pro.
Maybe you secretly. I think you have a Mac. I think secretly you have one tucked away somewhere. Yeah. I think he does.
So we're hidden.
Just won't admit it.
I have as much as a Mac as I had fish and chips from you.
That's bloody fish and chips. When am I gonna? One day I gotta buy. You know, I'm gonna buy some, and I'm gonna post it to the Netherlands. I'm gonna send it to you. That's what I'm gonna do. Next day delivery. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm good. If I get one, it needs to be fresh.
Fair enough.
Ruin the whole taste.
Well,
oh dear.
And let me just do a refresh here. Thanks to everybody that is joining on the live stream. And if you're hearing this on the podcast, you downloaded the podcast. It's free. You can go back and hear it from the beginning. So we got Jermaine from the Netherlands and Roger from the UK, both really good content creators here. And Jermaine likes to create concepts on his channel about new stuff that he thinks or looks the way it should come out. So you can check that out, and it's really cool. And he's also a tech reviewer, so he checks in the latest tech coming out. And you got Roger, that he's another tech reviewer, PC builder, web developer.
I'm too many things. I don't know
a lot of things going there. So yeah, you can download the podcast and hear it later. If you cannot join the live stream, you just can download it and hear it. It is in your favorite audio version. You can download it from Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean. If you got Amazon Prime, Audible, it's there too. So you got a lot of places you can download it from. But yeah, and let's go back to your main. What do you plan now? What is your next idea, or at least what you got on mind for your next concept?
I got a few. I'm working on possibly doing a iPhone 4 2021 edition. I'm working on a Nintendo concept. I'm working on possibly doing a foldable iPhone. I'm working on probably doing a MacBook as well. And in terms of reviews, this one, S21, and probably something else with that, which I cannot disclose yet because NDA stuff.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, it was like all these companies came out with new consoles. Microsoft came with theirs. Sony came with theirs. Nintendo stayed on their Switch. So yeah, I know the Nintendo is trying to avoid being in the console war. Yeah, they don't want they can't win that war right now because usually they've been around people with the handheld devices, with the 3DSs, the DSs. Those are most successful sales that they had in those type of consoles and gaming. And they got the Switch, and they did the Switch Lite, trying to keep it as mobile as possible. And that's why they dished the Wii and the Wii U, because one of the problems that they had is, for me, is that they're trying to bring more accessible consoles for people, and they're trying to bring more games and more family games, but their hardware still like way behind all these other companies.
But their target is not necessarily about the quality of that game in terms of how it looks. For instance, old games. There are a lot of old games that I still enjoy, even though it looks so bad. Because it was about the game. The game itself really worked well. It was well made. It was well thought out. And it was just fun to play. A lot of games currently want to do stuff that is more about how it looks, how impressive or how realistic it is. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I'd rather have a game that is really good in terms of gameplay than something that is just purely about the looks of the game. I don't want that. And I think that is where the strength lies with Nintendo. With that being said, yeah, they had some flaws like the Wii U that made no sense. But I think what they're doing right now, for instance, does make a lot of sense when it comes to doing that new consoles, basically.
Yeah, you got like Animal Crossing, people like that type of games, and they literally, you look at Animal Crossing, you can't fit that on a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox. You literally see Animal Crossing is this is a Nintendo game. It's like Super Mario is a Nintendo game. That's how the way it looks. But if you remember, when they were literally losing that battle on the Wii U, they tried to bring like Call of Duty and games like that into the Wii, and those consoles were made for that. They literally can't play those games on that, and that's why they ditched the Wii U right away.
Mm-hmm.
But if they go into more old type of games, like those remakes of Mario, and probably those a little bit more graphical, like the newer Zeldas and stuff like that, because the last Zelda was done in the Wii, and actually on GameCube, and it was just repassed to the Wii, and then passed to the Wii U, and then into the Nintendo Switch. So they literally just expanded and put more expansions in the game, but it's still the same game. They haven't built a new one. They haven't made a new Zelda. So and people, like, I got a Switch. I got every single console available, I think, but it's just because of those games, or those type of games that people are looking for. It's not
I love Nintendo. I love Nintendo stuff because it's a little bit different to, it's easy. It's not, some of the stuff is not competitive. It's just relaxing fun. That's why I think Nintendo is so good, because, when you're PC gaming, you're playing like Call of Duty or Fortnite, or, mind you, saying that, I have got Fortnite on the Switch, and it runs at like 5 FPS or something. So again, even a competitive game, you can't play competitively. So, but no, it's colorful, it's fun, it's, it's easy. easy stuff to play. Nintendo's cool. I quite like Nintendo stuff. They've got their own market, haven't they?
Oh, market, yeah.
Yeah, I had my first console was a Nintendo. I started like my own first console was a Nintendo because my dad bought me a Nintendo like back in 1997. They were only literally like a year and a half old company, and my dad brought me a Nintendo. But back, my neighbor had an Atari, and it was from his dad, and that's how I went into like a little bit of gaming. But yeah, it's like Nintendo has their own people that they follow them through no matter what type of games they have, because they just like those games. Like I used to turn my Wii U just to play Wii Sports.
Yeah, I have that game
just to play
Nice.
Wii Sports because
Nice.
I was like, I want to play some golf, and I just put Wii U, and that was it.
But it's cool. It's nice, relaxing fun. It's just a bit of fun. That's the good thing about it.
If I play with my brother, though, it's all about competition.
but yeah, and you want to play bowling, you just put the Wii Sports also, and
mind you, me and Jermaine, we quite often play together PC stuff. You know, we do play Fortnite, stuff like that. Although you've gone off of that game a bit, haven't you, Jermaine? You still play it sometimes, but I still love it. I'm still like a proper Fortnite fan, but we do play stuff like golf with friends and stuff like that. That's more relaxing, and that's really good fun. I think you can actually get that on the Switch as well, golf with friends. But anyway, that's cool. Stuff like that's good fun.
Yeah, I got Steam, and on Steam I got, well, I'm more likely I turn into a first person shooter type of gamer. So because when I got my Xbox, my original Xbox, I went into Halo, and from Halo, I've been behind Bungie track forever. So I went from Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo DST, Halo Reach, Halo 4, and now well, after Halo Reach, it became the other Microsoft companies.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. Bungie after that came with Destiny, and then I'm right now on Destiny 2 most of the time. And I play Call of Duty, but when I am into sports, I like to play either basketball or golf. Like right now on Steam, I got N2K and NK and 21. What is the golf?
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's a esports game. And it's the latest one on golf, and I'm just literally play for fun because I just sit down here in the computer. I'm like, I want to play some, or like I used to, when I was like getting tired of Destiny, I'm like, I have to give a refresh. I used to go into Fortnite, and
fair enough. Yeah, it's something different, just to change.
Yeah, just to relax a little bit and change the game mode.
Yeah.
But yes, so Royer, what is your next build?
I have no idea. I think the problem is, I really don't, because like I was saying earlier on, the problem is, yes, the whole reason that I make tech content is because I love tech and I love making content. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't do it. But yeah, like really? Is that really why you do it? But the problem is because the channel's been going for a while, and I see a lot of other channels around me, some really nice guys, great guys that have grown a lot in the same time that I've been doing this. Some channels now, they started at the same time as me, roughly, and they're at 50, 60,000 subscribers. I'm sitting just under 10 still, but I understand the reason. I know the reason, and that's because I am not a very niche down channel. So people that come to my channel, they don't really know what they're going to get. And that's the whole problem. That's why I'm not growing as fast as some of the others. Now, in some respects, that's not a bad thing, because I'm not in this to grow as large as I can and become this massive, famous YouTuber. I'm not interested in that, really. However, I'm thinking to myself now this year, if I'm here and I'm making the content and I do want people to see it and enjoy what I'm making, yeah, so I do want to grow. I'm not saying I want to grow crazy fast, but the only way to grow is to niche down and really think about what I'm doing. So I think I'm tending to steer more towards smartphone content. However, it's not going to, the PC stuff's not going to go away, but I do want to do more smartphone content, and I want to do more budget or mid-range smartphone content, because I'm actually starting to think in real life, there are many more people out there that don't have the money to buy flagship stuff, and they're buying budget and mid-range stuff. So I want to show those people what they can get for their money, you know?
Yeah,
yeah, but in terms of builds and stuff like that, I don't know. I'm really not sure. I think my head is focusing more on smartphone stuff at the moment, because I think that's where I should start to head a bit. I don't know.
But yeah, that's how you try to niche your channel, but because you can't be a Linus Sebastian and have Linus Tech Tip that is over 11 million subscriber channel that he literally does anything on tech. He sometimes is doing networking, sometimes he's checking the phone, sometimes he's working on a PC, because he has already the growth. He has the
it's
push.
already there.
It's already there.
It's so big, he can just do, and this is what I've spoken to people, you know, and they're sort of saying, when you get to that point, people come to your channel then for you, not for the content you've made. They're coming for you, but that's only when you've made it, you know, when you've got a big channel. When you're still trying to grow and you're still small, people are not coming for you. There are some really cool guys that come to my channel and they watch the stuff and they always comment and everything, and I think they're coming there because they enjoy what I make, and they're coming there for me, which is really nice. You know, there's a few people that always show up, and I don't think people realize that means a lot when you get the same people that come back, and you know they're not interested in watching a gaming headset. They don't want to know about the latest Abcon core here. They're not interested in that. They're coming because they're supporting you, which is really awesome, and that means a lot. It does mean a lot, you know. So yeah, but maybe once I've got 10 million subscribers, I'll just do whatever I want, you know.
But
just a note: if you get 10 million subscribers, I want you.
It's not going to happen.
You never know.
That I want you to make one of those buildings that I sent you as terms of video.
Oh no. Jermaine, I already built this building that I'm sitting in. I don't think I could build it.
I know.
but yeah, it's some of the viewers don't know when they leave a comment and it's a positive comment underneath, even though they might got help out of that video, or they might just came and support you. It feels good. It feels good that you see this person is replying to you, leaving you a message saying, hey, thanks for that video, it helped me a lot, and I didn't realize that this worked that way. And like you say, some of them are just supporters and they really don't care about what you did, but they're like, hey, thanks for posting this video, it's a nice video, whatever. It really helps you out, improve for the next video, makes you want to get better at what you're doing.
It really does, you know. And there are times when, like, even the recent one, even the Xiaomi Redmi Note 9T, I was sitting here at 3 o'clock in the morning with a bad headache. I don't feel very well. I just want to go to bed and get into bed. But I got this video and it's bugging me. There's something that's not right. I need another shot. I need to do this. I need to change something here, whatever. So I'm sitting here in the middle of the night. And when you post it and then people watch it and they leave you a really nice comment, I think, you know what? It was worth sitting there at 3 o'clock in the morning doing that. It was worth it. You know, it really was. So it's cool. It's good. It's good fun.
Yeah, it really
when I've got 10 million subscribers, I'm not going to sit there at 3 o'clock in the morning.
You'll have somebody doing it for you. But
I'll do. Yeah.
but yeah, it's when we all three, we are solo guys doing this. It is tough. It is tough because you have to plan it in your head. You have to have what you want to shoot on, because sometimes they loan it to you, the company, but when we are small channels, that doesn't happen. So you have to buy it if you want to cover that product or just do a video about it.
Yeah.
And then you have to make sure that that value of that product that you bought is actually worth it to put a video out so people can see it. so that because it's not worth it that you spend on a phone that you put the video and only get 100 views or less than, because then it was like, well, I put all this time to create this video. I bought the phone, I created the video. It took me 8 hours one day just to record, edit, and post it, and then it doesn't get the views. And it's hard. It's hard when you're doing it solo. And like me, I got another job, so I really have to work at night.
Yep.
Sleep halfway into the night, into the day, wake up, and I'm like, I have to shoot a video. So I have to literally, I live in an apartment, so I don't have a set room for it. So everything is stored. So I have to put all the set. I have to put the lights.
That's so annoying, because Jermaine has this problem. Jermaine shoots where he lives, and until last year, I had exactly the same problem. It's in my living room. You know, my wife would come in and she'd say, right, we're going to sit down now with the children and we're going to put a film on. And I'd be like, no, I'm in the middle of film. No, you can't do that. You have to go out and close the door. I'm filming a video. And she'd be like, oh, you know, and then she wouldn't talk to me for a week because I ruined her night and stuff like that. So no, she's been really good, actually, quite supportive. But because I've got kids and a family and everything that are trying to use the same space, it was a disaster. It really was. And in the end, I was like, you know what? I'm going to build something out of wood. So, but I'm so lucky because not everybody can do, like Jermaine, for example, can't do this. You don't have a garden. You don't have a space to, so I'm spraying things on the floor. You don't have a space to do this kind of thing. So I'm very lucky in that respect.
Yeah. Like this space where I'm recording right now, what I actually record when I'm sitting is probably 4 feet wide by like 6 feet. So I'm in this little corner that the apartment had that is actually, it wasn't usable unless it was for like a storage, because it's really so I literally was like, well, I'm gonna build that corner for me, but this I only can use the computer, or if I'm shooting a video like the ones that I did for CES, that I just literally put the camera and an angle and just shoot myself, but I'm not actually showing a product or showcasing something. Because when I have to do that, I have to use the living room, and I have to put the table, and I have to put the lights, and I have to put everything, set up everything. And if I start recording, let's say I wake up like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I start shooting by 12:30 after I had breakfast and everything, and by 3:30, I have to start putting back everything away because I start to work at 5. So I have to use those 3.5 hours to be worth it to record something.
That's absolutely true. It's a lot of work. And again, Aditya in the comments there is saying a dedicated shooting space is a luxury. It definitely is a luxury. Yeah. Most people don't have that luxury. Dedicated space for fake plants. Absolutely. I got some of these fake plants. Have you got, Jermaine, you've got a plant? Have we all got? Right, okay, we got one. Let's see. The plants are coming out. Nice. There you go. I've got a few. I've got a little collection going on here. Actually, I wonder if can I pull this one into the shop? Let me just see if I can. Here we go. I've got a few of these as well. These are cool.
Yeah. I get it.
And I have another one, but I don't know where I left that.
Oh, it's all good fun. It's all good fun.
I got some.
Nice. Yeah, little Funko Pops.
Yeah, Fortnite. Here.
Oh, it's a Fortnite one.
Yeah,
nice.
Fortnite should have this light.
Yeah, you like that. You use that a lot in your shots, Jermaine, actually, don't you?
It's a really good light.
Yeah, it's and when you want to get a good shot and you're gonna have those props to put it on the video, and you have to have the space, you have to have the room, because it's not like Marquez that he has a big place and he has like 3 different rooms, one stage for headshots, one for when he's actually doing an in-front camera A-roll video. So we don't have that luxury when we're shooting, and you have or live in an apartment, or you got a small house that doesn't have the area. Like that's one of the things that I'm looking for. I'm in the plans of buying a house within the next year. So I already know for a fact that I have to have a room set up for at least to be able to have it all set up all the time.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just showing because Aditya there's saying there's no way that this big tall plant is fake. This is from IKEA. This is yeah. I've got two of these. These are so big, they're bigger than me, but they're nice to have in the background. They are really big.
Hey, Greg, Jermaine is giving you the look.
I'm flexing, Jermaine. You need some of these plants, Jermaine. I'll send you some with your fish and chips, all right?
Greg was flexing his snow.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that's what actually these ones are from I don't think these ones are from IKEA. These I bought this in Walmart. They
nice. That's one shop that I have. Yeah. I've never been to the US. I have to go to a Walmart one day. I must.
Okay, so I actually have an idea. I heard today it came on my post, and I said it to Michael as well. We have to move to Italy. You know why? They're selling a town that is becoming more and more quiet. You have a ready home for $7,500.
That's crazy. That's really cheap, isn't it?
That's really cheap, and it has more character than, for instance.
How many Xiaomi Redmi Note 9Ts could you buy for that? That's quite a lot. I'm not gonna work it out, but it's a lot.
Surprisingly, it's only 7 of these.
Yeah, 7 of them, and you can buy yourself a home to live in. Where is it? Italy? Did you say?
Italy. Yeah.
That would suit me down to the ground because the only thing I eat, as you know, is spaghetti bolognese. So I'd be at home there. I'd be at home.
Terrible spaghetti bolognese, by the way.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's done my own way, but
he still owns you the fish and chips.
Yeah, fish and chips one day. One day. The thing is, the guys are not going to let me forget this on Twitter and wherever I go. They obviously they follow me and they keep reminding me that you're this awful person. You didn't buy Jermaine fish and chips, and now you've got to pay. And I'm like, oh my goodness! So one day he'll get that fish and chips. I promise you, Jermaine, you will.
I already said to myself that I'm never gonna have the experience of fish and chips.
Oh, I feel sorry for you. I really do. Well, I don't actually, but next time you're here, we'll get you fish and chips. Oh dear.
Tech therapy.
I'm going to ignore Ron's comment because he's.
I keep saying the same. I said if I ever am in the UK, for some reason, even though he still hasn't given me fish and chips, I said to him, "I'll make you a proper spaghetti because what he's making ain't proper spaghetti." It's amazing.
I use Dolmio. That's a really nice sauce. That Dolmio. It is nice. It is nice.
But yeah, it's when you don't have a dedicated space, it's tough because you like right here. I got a bunch of shelves with like a lot of stuff, and I got a shelf with stuff that I have to review that I haven't touched yet. I have stuff that I already reviewed, and another one has like a few lenses that I really don't use them anymore because they were for the Canon camera. So I got a Sony camera, so I can't unless I bought an adapter.
What camera do you use, Rolando, now?
I'm using the A7S3, the Sony A7S3.
Nice.
So yeah, because I started with a Nikon 7200, and
I've never used one of them actually. A lot of people swear by them. I've never used one.
They're good for photography. It's just for recording. They don't have autofocus. They really suck at autofocus. So, but for photography, they're really good. And then I went like, well, I need something with a good autofocus. So I went for a Canon. So I went the 7200 was shoot at 1080p, and then I went to the Canon 80D that shoot at 1080p, but had great dual autofocus, so I can just zoom everything in the hand. And so that's why I started buying Canon lenses. And I had a 50 mil, a 100 mil for macro shots, and I had the 18 to 130, 100 to 18 to 35 Sigma, and then I had the
nice lens.
Yeah, so I had that, and then I was like, well, I want to try to get more quality video, so I bought a GH5. I bought a GH5 with the adapter, and I can use the same lenses. And I started using the GH5, and GH5 doesn't have autofocus, good autofocus, but at least when you're shooting a product, usually you use a manual focus because you want to get, unless you're like literally doing a roll and showcasing something with your hand, is when you actually use autofocus. But when you're shooting a product, you usually use manual focus.
Yeah, I only use manual focus for everything. And a funny thing is, when I did the video of the Redmi Note 9T, I don't ever talk about this with people, but I don't have a lot of cash. I don't have a lot of cash to spend on stuff, you know. So I use the Sony A6300, but to get all that lovely bokeh and all the rest of it, I actually jumped onto Amazon and I bought myself a Neewer, so very cheap, 35mm lens, f1.7, I think is.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Yeah. And the result, some of the shots in that video, really creamy, lovely backgrounds and everything else. And this is like just a chip. I mean, it's all metal. You know, the lens is built quite well, actually. I just thought, you know what? Let me just give this a go. and my A-roll as well. All my A-roll was shot with that lens. And I am amazed when you look at the cost of this tiny little cheap lens, how good the quality of the image actually is. So quite amazing. Quite impressive.
Yeah, there's a lot of lenses that you can buy that are really good. But if you wanna, there's, for example, I don't know if you've seen Caleb Pike, DSLR shooter. He likes to get a lot of vintage lenses. That and those vintage lenses, even though they're old, they literally shoot so good video. And he finds these deals in like eBay and stuff like that with a whole kit, and you can buy the whole kit for the price that you buy probably a expensive prime lens.
The thing is, you know, you're right. It's quite interesting to see some of these videos where they show off cheaper and older lenses and stuff. But when I started my channel, I thought to myself, you know what, I need to get a really good camera. I need really good lighting. I need this. Actually, it turns out that, you know, yes, I'm using the A6300. I've got the kit lens, one lens, and now the Neewer lens. That's it. I'm not using any Yeah, I've got a dedicated space to work in. But as far as the tools are concerned, the actual camera, the lenses, there's nothing fancy going on at all. And I watched the videos back and I think, you know what? They look quite clean. This is fairly good from basic tools, you know. So I'm not in that mindset anymore. I'm not thinking, oh, I've got to have the most expensive camera, or, you know, if this does what I need it to do for now, that's great. Yeah, sure. In the future, if I've got loads of cash to spend, yeah, of course I'm going to go and buy myself an Arri camera or whatever they're called, you know. But for now, I want a robot arm as well, an MKBHD robot arm, stuff like that, you know.
But yeah, it's I literally just kept upgrading just because I was still like behind on the camera that I had, so I was like a couple of years behind. And now that I got the A7S3, that's gonna be probably my camera for the next 4 or 5 years. So because I'm already up to date, because usually that's the thing about me. I like to be like up to the latest all the time. And
yeah,
so I spend it on that camera with the kit lens, with the 24-70mm lens, and that lens is really good for everything that I'm going to be shooting here. So I really don't have to spend in anything else. I literally bought the 100mm for Canon, the macro lens, because I want to get those tight shots when you're shooting at a lens or a USB port or something like that you want to just showcase that area. And people don't know that 100mm lens, when you're shooting and it's a macro lens, you're literally like 6 feet away from the product and you still can see it like like this big. and so
well, Jermaine has to put his camera in Germany, open the window, and then you know, you still have to stand back a bit, Jermaine, don't you?
Yeah, it's minimal distance that I'm working with. Fun fact, the A6300 Roger is using, it's actually my old camera, because I started going back to, I got a 6400, I think, because it had a not fully articulated screen. It had a 6400. It had the screen that I can then watch on. Yeah,
because this one only flips up. It doesn't come out, does it? You can't turn it around. You can't. Yeah, that's right.
That's the one I could fully flip, so I could properly see.
Yeah.
and now he has like 6 or 7 batteries for mine because I had like a whole setup with it.
I do. Got loads of batteries for it. Yeah, whole collection of them.
Yeah.
I'm going to give all the batteries names because I need to get to know them better. You know.
Fair enough.
But you can buy also the adapter and put it through with a D tab or put it to a battery, a V mount battery or something like that. Because that's what
I should look into that.
Because that's usually what I do. Like my camera right now. The good thing about the A7S III is that you can plug it through USB-C and it keeps charging it. Even though
that's good.
I already figured out that even though if you're having a long stream, like for example, like I did with Sam, like at the 2 hours and 10 minutes of the live stream, it literally shut down on me because it didn't charge the battery fast enough. So it drained the battery at the same time that it was charging.
Oh, I know someone else who had that problem. Jermaine was doing a live stream, weren't you, Jermaine, at Xiaomi's office somewhere, and your camera went off, didn't it? I remember now. Yeah.
So, and the thing is that with the power only, it doesn't stay on. That's a
shame.
That's a shame. But yeah, because even though it doesn't charge the battery, it should just keep it on so it doesn't shut down on you. Yeah. But what I got it here with a small rig cage mounted. But when I'm shooting out there, I got a Manfrotto tripod already set up that I have for my GH5. It's literally the same. I mounted. It has a V mount. I had the battery, and I had all the cables to just plug it in and keep going. And when I want to do manual focus, I bought the Tilta Nano. So I literally just have it at the handle and just can tweak it with my hand.
That's quite cool.
Yeah. And if you got a prime lens like this, the Sony, you can go to a place like what is Focus Gear, and they make the gears for the lenses, so you can put it in. They're 3D, and you can actually put them and use the focus from the Tilta, the adapter. So you don't have to have actually a prime focus lens on it.
Nice.
That's how I had all my lenses done, and it's cheap too.
People don't realize, do they, when you do something as simple as shoot a video for YouTube, they don't realize you have to know a bit about cameras, lenses, editing, lighting, music, products, the tech you're actually talking about. It's a lot. Thumbnails. Me and Jermaine love thumbnails, don't we, Jermaine? It's our favorite bit.
Yeah, it's everything about a learning curve because. Even though I've been around tech for probably the last 27 years, and I knew the stuff. I literally learned how to use a phone from top to bottom, everything, every single corner, every single detail about a phone, and I knew about it. And if somebody asked me, I'm like, yeah, you can do this, you can do that, because I'm good at that. I'm good at explaining how to use stuff, how to work stuff around. But when I wanted to become make it a channel, because I was like, one day I was like, I've done this for the last 20 years as a hobby, and I can do it on YouTube and try to get some benefit back.
Well, worth trying to do it. And like you said, suddenly you find you post a video, you weren't sure what was going to happen. All of a sudden it's got like 20,000 views, and you're like, wow, that's cool. So that's good. It's good.
Yeah, and when I started recording. Literally, my first DSLR was that Nikon 7200. I never had a DSLR. I don't know how to shoot on a DSLR. I don't know. So I had to start looking online for people that are ready. And then when I changed for the Canon, and the same when I changed for the GH5, because every camera works different, even though it's in a similar idea on how to work the camera, but they have their own features, their own different way to focus and color and stuff like that. So that's when I started going into the Gerald and Don channels, Caleb Pike DSLR shooter channels, Donna did it channels. Literally you learn how to work the cameras and know how to color grade and fix stuff on the post-production after you record. And Premiere came for me as a little. It was easy because it was software, and I'm good at software, so I didn't have too much to learn about how to use that or Photoshop and none of that stuff. But yeah, the creativity, like thumbnails, like you have a thumbnail, you want to put the product, you want to showcase the product, but you want people to go into the thumbnail and hit it, but you don't want to put too much in the thumbnail that people will like, I've seen that before. So
it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult to know what to do. But you know, it is like you said, it's a learning curve, and in the end, you get better at what you're doing, and you hone your craft. You just, you know, even now, like I send Jermaine about 27 different versions of my next thumbnail, and he's like, nah, you know. Because, and that's what it's all about. It's about, I guess, getting opinions from other people about what they think. You know, what would they click on? And obviously, a lot of people tweet this stuff out, don't they? They're like, which thumbnail would you pick, or what would you click on? You know,
and also it's about the creator, because you got creators that do literally plain thumbnails. They don't have anything. They just literally put the picture, and they get clicked because
they do that.
Yeah, and, yeah. So, and it's because the way they have built their channel around is how the thumbnails were built around. Like if you go to a Dave 2D channel, you see that it's a plain phone or a plain laptop.
Very plain.
Nothing, no letters, no words, nothing. It's just literally clean. And people already know that's his way of putting thumbnails out.
That is his way, and you're right. And then because people, not a lot of people, but some people have said to me, "Oh, Roger, what is it with you and RGB and all your thumbnails? Everything's purple." And I'm like, "Well, you know something? I like purple, and that's why a lot of my stuff is purple. So sod it, that's mine. I like purple, and that's me. I'm just expressing my purpleness, you know."
New purple background of your profile picture, by the
way. Yeah. See here, look, I'll show you. Ready? There you go.
but yeah, that's how it is. That's the way you build your character around your personality. And it's like Gerald Dawn, if he changed his background, he has like an orange kind of like burgundy color background. If he changed that background, it's like there's no more Gerald Dawn on his
that's right. People get used to what you know, what you produce and what you put out, I guess. And it's a bit like, for me, it's weird because Jermaine's thumbnails are normally what it is that he's produced. They're very clean. They're really nice thumbnails of like the concepts that he's done or whatever. You know, it just depends what it is, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. But my thumbnails aren't clicky. What I do, the thing is, for instance, my style is often a bit more darker, as you can see right now. This is more my style, not like bright light, which is something that people enjoy, but not bright light, more like a calm tone kind of fight, right? That's what I normally go for because I enjoy that. It's the same with my Booker Ep.3 review using dark colors. I just like darker colors a bit more when it comes to stuff, and that makes it really hard to create a thumbnail that really stands out. It looks clean, but doesn't stand out.
Yeah, it's like, for example, I'm already really good lighting the way I'm set up right now, but if you see it doesn't look coloring, it's because I forgot to change the profile on the Sony S7 III. So I'm literally like if I was shooting on RAW right now. That's why you can see the colors right here, like really good. And it's a little bit gray.
Easily done. But I guess as well, a lot of this will be for podcasts, so people will be listening to it as well.
So but
that's fair though. That's fair.
But yeah, well, I think we're hitting the hour-and-a-half mark. I think we made it. We did.
We made it here. I've got to say, Rolando, thank you very much for having me on, having Jermaine on. It's been a lot of fun. It has been a lot of fun. Yeah.
Aditya says, streaming from the 1970s. Yeah. Kind of like that. Well, but yeah, it's been fun, guys. I really appreciate that you have taken your time to be out with me on a Sunday.
No worries.
And for the live stream and for the people that are here in the podcast, you can actually if you just literally starting watching the live stream, you can either watch the whole live stream or you just can go and download the audio version on your favorite podcast. And just don't forget to give it a rating on the podcast, because that's the only way the podcast gets promoted. It's not, you don't have to buy it, it's free. You just download it and can hear it on your phone when you're working on whenever you have your time. Well, once again, so I want to thank Jermaine and Roger for coming into the live stream. You can go down to the description below. You're going to have their links for their channels, and you can go watch their latest videos on YouTube, and you can actually follow them on Twitter, where they usually post what is going to be their next video is coming out. And you can actually ask them questions if you have any about any of their products or videos that they're showcasing. And thanks Aditya and Greg and IR and Tech Tech Therapy and all the guys that were literally joining to the live stream. If you want to hear the past live stream, you can go and you're gonna click the links and somewhere around here later on the on the video, where I got last week I had Joseph Marrero and Eric Coverner from IBM. They're both software developers for IBM and Red Hat. And in the first podcast I had Sam and Matt Tyler from my podcast, Across the Podcast, that actually their show is coming up right after mine's in a few, like a half hour after mine's. And they have Matthew Moniz, a great Canadian content creator, and he's going to be their guest today on their show. And tomorrow you can go to Some Kayak Guy and watch Juan Carlos Bagnell on his live stream also in Twitch. All right. This is everything for this show. Thanks, everybody. Thanks you, Jermaine and Roger. And guys, I will see you next Sunday on the live stream. I already got Troy from What Gear coming up. I'm waiting for one more guest that might be coming up also on the live stream. So once again, thanks, guys, and I'll see you next Sunday.
Have a good one. See ya.